Kerry, County Kerry to Cork in 2017, a year before the only shul, the only synagogue in Cork had closed. The last leader of the community, Freddie Rosehill, had passed away. And I moved to Cork and I was playing klezmer music in the pubs and doing research for my play. And I soon learned that everyone in Cork has a story or some information or an interest in the old Jewish community. So my story gathering kind of spiraled way past what was needed for a musical play. Welcome to Jewish Cork. The first two Jews who arrived in Cork were Portuguese cooks from the Duke of Schomberg's army in the late 1600s. There was no real Jewish community at that time until 200 years later. During the 19th and early 20th centuries, millions of Jews left their homes in Europe, the Middle East and North Africa, and in search of new opportunities. Some of them, mostly from Lithuania, found their way to Cork City.
This is the Trinity Bridge. It's also known as the Passover Bridge. It was erected in 1977 and opened by the first and only Jewish Lord Mayor of Cork, Gerald Goldberg.
The mikveh, the Jewish ritual bath, mainly used by women, was in the back of the Turkish baths on the South Mall, where Jacob's on the Mall restaurant now stands. There was a back entrance over there on Father Matthew Quay so that women could enter the mikveh, called the private Jewish bath, without having to go through the public Turkish bath area.
When Jewish families started to migrate to Cork in the late 1800s, the men of the community would meet in someone's living room for services. When the community became big enough, two congregations developed, Cork Hebrew Congregation and Remnant of Israel. By 1911, there were approximately 450 Jews in all of Cork, and in 1915, the two congregations combined into one, the Hebrew Congregation, and settled here at 10 South Terrace.
Now, let's talk about Green Feather Boa. Green Feather Boa is a play looking for a producer. It's written, the score is written for voice and piano and accordion. We're going back to 1955. Miri, a character in the play, is 30 years old. She's sitting on a bench near her grandma Hannah's house in Jewtown, which is the name that the locals used to call the old Jewish area of Cork, and they still do call it that. Miri has her baby daughter with her in a pram. Miri's just had a bit of a wobble because she hasn't been back to her grandma's house for 10 years, and she's not sure if she's going to be welcome, and she's not sure if this gigantic cake that she's brought with her is really appropriate to bring. But she's had her wobble, and now she's singing to her baby, telling her baby about her background. George Hanover is the actor that's singing Miri.
Grandma came to Ireland from Lithuania. My Zeder knew some people who moved here many years before that rainy Thursday, when they landed at the dock at Queenstown Pier, June 16th, 1904. My mother can't remember her first few years in Cork, a city full of churches, not like Acme and where she was born, and her first memory, Grandma Hannah singing songs to her in Yiddish, songs about the pogroms and the war.
Schlaf mein Fegele, mach zu dein Egele, schlaf mein Kind, schlaf. Mach zu dein Egele, mein Teil Fegele, schlaf.
My mother grew up Irish. Her parents spoke between themselves only in Yiddish. They read the local paper trying to learn English. When mother went to school, she learned some words in Irish. And in the synagogue, the prayers were all in Hebrew. And so it came to pass that by the age of 14 and a half, there were 4 languages she knew. special. And in the winter she would have to leave school early and hurry home to help prepare the house for Shabbos, because her parents and their neighbors were religious in Cork in 1915.
Schlaf mein Kind, schlaf.
It's Friday morning, late 1915. Rivka, who is Miri's mother, but back in 1915 she's not Miri's mother yet. Rivka is 14 and a half, and she's about to go to school when she bumps into her friend Zalman, who's 17. Rivka is sung by Aisling McCarthy and Zalman is sung by Pierce O'Donoghue. Later in the play, of course, Rivka and Zalman get married and there's a big wedding scene and everybody dances around the theatre and all that. But at this stage, they're just teenagers, and it's 1915. There aren't many Jewish people still living in that area called Jewtown, as most have moved on to more affluent areas of the city, but there are still a handful of families there. Ireland is in a state of flux, still ruled over by the British. The Irish nationalists, among them many poets, writers and teachers, are preparing to stage the rebellion, the Easter Rising in Dublin. Zalman is working as a postboy and he's getting fired up about the political situation. He's getting ready to rebel. But first of all, he has to chat Rivka up. So in this video, you're going to see part of the development process of Green Feather Boa over the last year or so. So you're going to see scenes that were videoed in City Hall in Cork with masks on in August last year, in the house where I'm living in Crosshaven, and also on Zoom.
What do you know about delivering letters? You should leave it to your olders and betters. Now look what you've done, you've spilled half the feathers on the ground.
Green ground of Ireland, what's in the parcel?
Don't get in a fluster, just looks like a feather from a feather duster. Maybe it's a chicken that was plucked from the coop for the soup.
Nice bowl of green soup, what would my mama be doing with a packet of feathers so green? Soft and bright and fluffy and light, but never the like being seen in Jewtown. What would my mama be thinking? Who could have sent such a thing?
You can ask her later, I'm sure you'll find out. Come on, we'd better fix this package. Looks like a stamp from a foreign land, handwriting by a foreign hand. It's not from Ireland, so where's this package from?
Lithuania. Maybe it's something to do with her parents. They passed away, but she hardly mentions.
They never came here to Cork to live with you.
No, I never met them. Mama, a package! Come on. Did your parents come from Lithuania too, Zalman? Does your father speak Yiddish?
No, although he must know it.
Why doesn't he? Most of the neighbours do. Well, the Jewish ones anyway. He came from Acmeon as well, didn't he?
Yes, when he was 15. He ran away from the army and made it onto a boat and then here. He doesn't know what happened to his parents or anything. But he must know something. So many people came later from Acmeon. Someone must have known his parents. Anyway, he never talks about them. I never asked. But us, Rivka, we're part of modern Ireland. I've no interest in that old language. Irish now that's a different story. Well, now we're into Changar Nina. Tosula Gurm all in a gut.
Something about eyes?
Oh, you useless. You should spend less time on your Jewish studies and more time learning Irish. Then you'll be able to understand me.
But I love to sit and study Bible with Tata.
What a waste of time, religion doesn't matter.
Shouldn't you continue with your own?
First I've got some news.
Well, say it in English.
I'm leaving school, you can go to the devil. I'm off to Dublin to join the rebels.
But your education...
I can wait, it won't take long to get the British
But
out
what would
of
my
our
mama be doing with
to
a packet
carry
of
guns through
feathers
the
so
streets.
green?
Green,
Soft
white,
and bright
orange,
and
raise
fluffy
the
and
flag.
light, but
I'm going
never
soon,
the
I
like
can't
been
wait
seen
into town. Maybe I could borrow your father's cart to carry guns and flags, I can't wait for it to start. Maybe I could use my father's shop as a safe house,
Safe place to stop.
The plan had been in 2020 that the show was going to be shown in part during the Cork Midsummer Festival. And we had 5 actors that sing lined up, and of course then COVID, so that all changed. So yeah, we'd even arranged with the alternative bread company in the English market that we're going to make this massive challah, a massive plaited loaf, and we were going to have that as a prop on the stage. It was going to be epic, but it's all kind of epic anyway. Yeah, so I just have to also say I'm not an actor and I'm not a Yiddish speaker and I haven't got an Irish accent, so you're going to hear my really dodgy Yiddish Irish accent in this. Scene 4. Summer 1918, Shabbos morning. Rivka's 17, her mother Hannah is 36. Setting, the kitchen dining room of Hannah's house. There's a table and chairs, a fireplace, a small clock, a mirror, and a hook on the wall with a tallis, a prayer shawl hanging from it, and a green feather boa also hanging there. On the table, a white tablecloth, 2 candlesticks with the remains of burnt down candles, a bottle of Kiddush wine, a challah plate and a challah cover. Hannah is preparing the table and humming the lullaby. Rivka, hurry up, you'll be late for shul. Rivka enters, brushing her hair.
Mama, do I have to go?
Do we always have to have this conversation? Hannah takes the brush from Rivka. Of course you have to go, Nu. We have to keep up with what's happening in the community politics. Hannah brushes Rivka's hair and hums to herself. Rivka is wriggling, itching to get away. Hold still, Rivka, stop wriggling.
But you're hurting my hair.
Hair doesn't feel pain. It has no nerves. It's your head that is hurting.
Well, then you're hurting my head. Oh, Mama, it's good to hear you laugh.
I know. Thank God things are better now.
We're getting used to living in Ireland. We've only been here 10, 11 years. Acme and it's not, but so what? We have a better life here. Zalman, your friend, he's a good boy. Not so religious, but a mensch. Acme and it's not, but his father has a shop. You'll make a good life for yourselves. But oy vey Izmir, he's a rebel. You young people, your heads are hot. Some join the Republicans, some join the British Army. Some leave for America. Acme and it's not. Some young people settle down, get married, new Rivka. Some don't keep Shabbos anymore. Some get injured. Oi, some die. Why'd they enlist in the war? It's not like they were forced to, like it was in the Heim. So, farwas? For why?
That'll do, Mama.
Oh, you look so much nicer with your hair down.
Yes, but that's no good for running.
Oh, and you will be running. Look at the time. You'll be late. You'll miss the prayer for the state.
God bless Ireland, the King and the Prince of Wales. I won't be saying amen to that one anyway.
I know you won't, child, but at the same time, we are British subjects.
I didn't choose to be a British subject. I'm Irish through and through. Anyway, it won't take long. Can't you see that it doesn't make sense? Ireland should have its own government, not be ruled by the monarchy of another country. I'm proud of Zalman. He joined the right fight.
You think there's a right fight? Oi, Rivka, you go already. God is waiting for your prayers. Two years later, scene 5, December 1920, an important year and an important month in that year for Cork City. Shabbos morning. Setting, the dining room of Hannah's house, the table, the chairs, the fireplace, the dresser with the tallis, the prayer shawl folded up on it, the mirror, a more ornate hook on the wall with the Green Feather Boa hanging on it, a bigger clock, a picture of King George V and Queen Mary on the wall. On the table are a white tablecloth, 2 candlesticks with the remains of burnt out candles, a fancy carafe now with wine, a challah plate and a challah klapper. Rivka is 19. She's brushing her hair in front of the mirror and she sees the reflection of the picture of the royal family in the mirror. She sees the reflection. She goes to pull the picture down off the wall. Hannah is 38 now and enters from the door singing the lullaby. Schlaf mein Vögele, mach zu dein Egele.
Mama, what on earth is this doing here?
Ah, don't worry, it's temporary. The neighbours said we should put it up. If the black and tans knock on our door, God forbid, raid the house, we'll pretend to be royalists. And they won't start searching, and they won't ask questions. God says that preserving life is more important than politics. So we tell a white lie.
Well, at least let's take it down while we're in the house for Shabbos. I can't stand looking at the British royalty. Ugh. And Zalman would be disgusted.
Rivka puts the picture on the dresser hidden under the folded up tallis. Hurry up, Nu, you'll be late for shul.
Mama, do I have to go?
Yo, why do we have to have this every week? It's your own fault you went to bed so late last night.
Oh, it's my magazine. I just couldn't put it down.
Oh, so it's the magazine's fault now, is it? What are you reading, Rivka? That's more important than going to shul and talking to God. Give me that hairbrush.
It's a story called Ulysses by James Joyce.
James Joyce? I've heard he's a great writer, but that the English he writes is strange. I know my English is strange as well.
Oh, Mama, you'd like it, though. It's about Leopold Bloom. He's Jewish. Well, not exactly. Ow! I'm not going to shul today, Mama.
I can't force you anymore. You're 19, a grown woman. Tell me about your man, Leopold Bloom.
Well, I don't know the whole story. It's a bit at a time in a magazine called The Little Review. Izzy sent it to me.
Izzy?
Yitzchak. He calls himself Izzy now.
Yitzchak? Yankov's cousin in America? Yitzchak sent you the magazine?
He calls himself Izzy now. He sends it to me every month.
Izzy? Yitzchak calls himself Izzy? You're in touch with Yitzchak in America? You didn't tell me. It's not Bukovadik, a young man sending magazines secretly to a girl.
It's not secret. Sure, didn't I just tell you?
Does his father know he's sending you magazines? Well, if you're not going to shul, come, help me set the table. Rivka and Hannah move around, setting the table.
So the whole story is happening on one day of the year. The 16th of June, 1904. Can you believe the same day that we came to Ireland?
That is a big coincidence. And what happens? The whole story only one day?
I'm not sure. It's not at the end yet. There's another few episodes, I think. But Bloom walks around Dublin and meets his friends. And his wife has a love affair with another man.
It shouldn't happen to our family. And his wife, is she Jewish?
No, well, Bloom isn't strictly Jewish because his mother wasn't Jewish, only his father.
They marrying out.
What would you rather, Mama? That I stayed here in Cork and married a non-Jew, or that I left for England or America?
God forbid I should have to make such a choice. Anyway, you have Zalman.
Stop, I'm not going to marry Zalman. Why do we have to have this every day? I'm only 19 and he's 22, finishing university already. I'm too young. Anyway, I want to go to university too.
You want. It's selfish, Rivka. You think I didn't want things? It's 1940. Hannah's 58, Rivka's 39. They're walking home from shul and they're worrying about what they're having for lunch, and they're worrying about the war. And they're worrying about Rivka's children, Miri and Aaron. What do you mean, Rivka? Miri's a vegetarian? Not even fish? What does Zalman think about this?
I don't know, Mama. I'm at a loss with her. The friends she mixes with, some of them are starting to smoke cigarettes and drink beer. They're much older than her. They're Aaron's friends, really.
Ah, Rivka, you were 15 once. She's such a beautiful young lady now. Suddenly. And Zalman was much older than you when you started walking out with him. So she'll meet a nice boy this way.
They're not Jewish. Most of the boys she sees, Mama.
Life is so different now in Ireland. The young people leave, they're looking for more. But here we're safe, no curfew, no bombs. We're neutral, we're not part of the war.
You think we're safe? Maybe, but I can't relax. I'm feeling scared. Nazis may yet come to this peaceful shore. Rivka, we have to be prepared. You must talk to your neighbours. Talk to your non-Jewish friends. Ask them, beg them, if it comes to the worst, will they take Miri and Aaron in? Ask them, please, to hide the children. If Hitler comes, God forbid. Oy vey, we'll have to run away, like from Europe our landslides did.
Mama, don't worry. Hitler won't come here, it will be grand. Acme and it's not, we're in a safe spot. We'll never have to leave our land.
You're very sheltered from real life with your nice job and your lovely clothes. Do you even read the papers? Did you see those people, those poor refugees? Have you any idea, Rivka, what they've been through? They had to save every penny, bribe and lie to get a visa. Ireland doesn't want them here. They had to make false names, false passports. They saw the ghettos cleared around them. and suddenly they find themselves in Ireland. They don't speak English, they're confused. And tomorrow again, on the move again. They'll never have a choice of hats like you. Don't you even listen to the news? Neutrality doesn't ensure safety. Anyone who thinks so is a fool. All you care about is your concerts, your work, and what you're going to wear for shul.
Mama, that's not fair.
And the new refugees now from Belgium off to Galway to work in, would you believe, in a hat factory? Those poor religious Jews who've lost everything. "1941. Miri is 16, and imagine her sitting on a bench. She doesn't play the accordion, but I do, so I'm accompanying myself on the accordion for this one. Miri's sitting on a bench writing a song, and she's imagining the day when she becomes a famous cabaret star. And as she composes the song sitting on that bench in 1941 in Ireland and in Jewtown, where things are poor and grey, she's imagining a full-on cabaret scene. And you have to imagine this too, that the troupe and the chorus and the dancers all come on behind the bench and they start dancing around and throwing feather boas around and joining in, singing and dancing with Miri. I left my green feather boa at the cabaret show. I asked if anyone had seen it, they said no. It's a puzzle and a mystery and a quandary at the cabaret show. Where did my green feather boa go? I should have said my sad goodbyes, a bit of fun farewell to that vital piece of green material. I'm not a material girl, but I am sad because I can't even remember what shade of green it was. What shade of green it was. What shade of green? Someone at the theatre knows where I left my feather boa. They're keeping it a secret, they don't want me to know. I'll poke around in corners, check out every nook and cranny. That feather boa was special, I got it from my granny. I never said a sad goodbye or a bit of fond farewell to that lovely piece of green material. You've got to imagine that feather boas start appearing on stage, thrown in from the wings. All different colours, but pink, blue, white, orange, but no green ones. I'm not really materially minded, but I'm not going to rest. I'm going to search until I find it. Miri goes into a serious cabaret dance now while the music continues. Do feel free to join in there at home if you like. I lost my green feather boa at the cabaret show. The cabaret show. I asked the director if he'd seen it. He said no, but he didn't look too sure. I think he might have lied. Give me back my feather boa, I cried. Now you have to imagine cabaret style leg kicks. Feel free to join in at home if you've got legs. I never said a sad goodbye or bid a fond farewell to that Seek and ye shall find. I'm going to seek and I shall find my green feather boa. Ooh-ah, ooh-ah. In the real world of Jewish Cork, or are we in the fictional world of the boa? I think reality and fiction gets a bit mixed up and in life, and I think that's what my play is about as well. If you want to hear more about the reality of the new Jewish community in Cork and where that's going, you can look at corkjewishcommunity.ie. But the reality of the play and where that's going, that's another matter. I'm still new to the theatre world. I'm unknown to producers in Ireland and anywhere, which is hopefully about to change. There's a few opportunities opening up, including the development of another play that I am in the process of writing. I just want to thank a few people before I finish my presentation for today. And I want to say that I'm really grateful to all my fellow musicians in Ireland, none of whom are Jewish, who've encouraged me on my musical path. I want to thank my fellow Jews in Ireland, none of whom are klezmer musicians, who've encouraged me in my research. And I want to thank loads of friends and also Ger Fitzgibbon, Katrina Foley, Tom Doyle and others who've been part of my theatre journey. Fiona Frank, who has been totally supportive in the development of Green Feather Boa, and also the Everyman Theatre, the Theatre Development Centre, the Tyrone Guthrie Centre, the Nano Nagel Centre, Cork City Council, Kerry County Council, the Arts Council, and of course Tsitsit Festival, and Aileen O'Sullivan, whose house I'm in at the moment because the Wi-Fi doesn't work in my house. So if I've missed anyone out, thanks family as well. We've got this far. What's next? Let's have a chat. I'm going to stop the recording and you can all put on your videos and let me know what I should do with this play. Thank you very much.